give him swing advice right now.
Well, before the horn blew, Scott Hoke finishing up at 18 this for par. And like he has done so many times in his career, just sneaks up the leaderboard on payday. It's his 6th top 10 in the U.S. Open since the 1990. Inspired by his trip to New York. Suspension of play here in the 102nd U.S. Open Championship. Players being herded into the vans and taken to safety. The leader by 3, Tiger Woods, through 11. And when he gets back to play, he'll be taking on the longest par 4 in U.S. Open history, the 12th. Hopefully that won't be very long from now.
Dateline Sunday. After winning a court battle to get a card on the PGA Tour, will golfer Casey Martin win his latest fight? A new Dateline tonight, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Tee it up and discover America's greatest golf experience on the lake in Coeur d'Alene.
Play 18 holes on America's best conditioned course with 4-caddy, cart, driving range, water taxi ride, even a new bag tag.
Then relax in your lakeside room with full access to our restaurants, spa, shopping, and more.
Stay and play now and experience the 5-star amenities that have placed Coeur d'Alene among the top resorts in America.
The Coeur d'Alene Resort, more than just a round of golf, it's America's greatest golf experience.
Plan your week. Get the 6-day forecast only on Q6 Mobile News.
The 102nd U.S. Open is brought to you by Lincoln. There are those who travel and those who travel well. By the new Nike Driver, it's forged. By Allegra fexofenadine hydrochloride. Ask your doctor if Allegra is right for you. And by Microsoft, providing software for the agile business.
Welcome back. First suspension of play in this championship. And even though you saw the players being corralled into the vans, they are not being taken back to the clubhouse for shelter because of electricity in the air and thunderstorms. It's just a precautionary measure, and hopefully play will resume within the next 15, 20 minutes, maybe half hour. Fans have been getting the weather warning for quite some time, as David Fay explained earlier, but it gives us a chance to take out Johnny's new toy, Swing View, and take a look at Sergio Garcia.
Well, Sergio's been a little off today, but he has got a swing that is sort of like a Ben Hogan swing. Look at the forward press he has, a big, wide take, and then watch the download, watch the wrist action, just a little bit farther down. Watch how he loads it now into a position that nobody gets into right here. And the club is just totally bent. Look at how the club is almost on his right shoulder, just like Ben Hogan. If you ever see his old Power Golf or Modern Fundamentals of Golf, and look at the power that he has in that shaft right there, the loading there. And this guy's only about 145, 55 pounds, and then just a big lead and then the snap. So he has that huge lead snap. Look at the arm position. Watch the extension in the next photo right here. Next little shot. Beautiful extension, big follow through all the way around, round. Whew. 22 years old. Don't try it if you're 42.
Garcia topped the game by his father, and that has remained his swing throughout his career. Won the club championship at the age of 12. It's Garcia playing in the final group with Tiger Woods as the rain has really started to fall here. Well, there have been some great shots in this championship. And in this suspension of play, we have a chance to show you a nice highlight package of them. And we'll begin in the first round with Sergio Garcia's third at the fifth. Showing that Great touch early as Garcia shot that opening round 68, just a shot off the lead of Tiger Woods. And then Justin Leonard, 99 yards with a pitching wedge, is third at the par 5 fourth. And this remains the lone eagle of the championship at the fourth. We have seen Corey Pavin, shown you how gritty he has been to play the weekend at this championship. One of the reasons why. Third at 16 falls in for the unlikely birdie 3. And then John Houston, also from the first round, his third at the first. More than one way to make a birdie at the opening par 4. Ian Leggett, the winner in Tucson earlier this year on the PGA Tour, second at the par 3 17. And then Heath Slocum, third at the second from the bunker, skirts through the rough and falls in. Players arrived at this golf course noting that they thought we could see some of the highest scores in championship history, but in reality they've handled it pretty well. Harrison Frazier sees his fourth shot go down at the 9th for par. And the second round is when the rains came. Playing conditions were tough, but Brad Lardon, one of the 82 qualifiers to make it into this championship, made the cut, helped by that third shot and birdie at the 9th. Woody Austin did not make the weekend play, but this was his final swing on Friday. An eagle 2 at the par 4. Mickelson showed his mastery in the rain as well. Third shot at the par 4 11. Tom Lehman from the bunker at the 5th. Sounded good. Perfect. Lehman calls Bethpage one of his favorite open courses. Ranks it right up there with Shinnecock. First time he saw it. Davis Love, his third at the 7th. Lots of good shots at this Open, but one of 3 aces in this championship. The first of 3 turned in on Friday. On the tee at 14, the par 3 with an 8-iron, Shigeki Maruyama, who got some air and then got the souvenir through the raindrops on Friday. And then in today's final round, Katayama is third at the 4th. Par 5. There was another eagle to join Leonard. And then Steve Flesh's 4th at the par 5 13. Flesh flushes it. And then a little while ago, if you didn't catch it, a 3-iron for Scott Hoke on the par 3 17th. 208 yards on his way to a round of 69, helped by that. Third ace of the championship came on the heels of Andy Miller's ace at the par 3 third. Another tough par 3. That one was 205 yards. Hope takes a bow. 37 aces at the U.S. Open through the years. And as we mentioned earlier, we expect the rain to pass through rather quickly. So the delay of just over 10 minutes right now, with the rain falling, we do expect it to them to crank up play shortly. Well, a quick look at the leaders before we take another break. Tiger Woods hoping for yet another major championship, shooting for his 7th major in the last 11 major championships contested. Mickelson the closest to him right now, and the only other player under par. 3 back. Maggart's 5 back. Black course at Bethpage State Park. First truly public golf course to host this championship. There's Shigeki finishing at +9. Craig Stadler, who's about to become a senior very quickly, played very well. Still has one hole left. He's going to have to wait it out a little bit longer.
Thanks.
Michelob Light.
There you go, baby.
The great taste of Michelob Light makes any occasion seem special.
So, Dan, do we have everything we need for this meeting?
It's all right here, sir.
Is your data backup as reliable as it should be?
Don't worry, sir. He told me everything.
Ours is. Bright Store Storage Software from Computer Associates.
Who's got an answer for me?
Why is it that when we grow up, we forget how to stick our necks out? At AIG, we believe the greatest risk is not taking one.
Yes, Mr. Carter. Every father who knows the joy of seeing his child follow in his spike marks.
Well, the rain really coming down at the Black course at this 102nd U.S. Open Championship. Final round, weather delay with Tiger Woods holding on to a 3-shot lead, and it gives us a chance to reinstitute NBC Golf's version of the McLaughlin grid. Just when you thought it was safe, we've got another discussion, and it's somewhat interesting as the fans get into it out there on the golf course. Johnny, Gary Koch, and Bob Murphy, who do you think it favors? Tiger was kind of on his way to perhaps putting this thing away. He's got a 3-shot lead. What do you think, Johnny?
Well, the only advantage in this weather is the pro shop selling more umbrellas. It's about all I can say on the thing. But I'll tell you. But right now, I don't think it helps anybody. The only guy who would have helped, I think, is if somebody would have posted some 64, and maybe who knows what the weather will be. But for Tiger Woods right now, he's settled down into the par kind of mode, I think, realizing that he's 3 ahead. It's no gimme right now. Mickelson could make 3 birdies. You never know. He's starting to hit a few more good iron shots. But I don't think it's sure. I sure wouldn't like it. I don't know about you, Murph. Or how about you, Murph? You wouldn't like to stop at this stage, would you?
Well, if I'm Phil Mickelson, I don't, because I've just saved a good par, and I'm ready to go. I've got the feel. I feel like I'm putting well, and that par save was a big one. He knows it. If I'm Tiger, I'm not too sure I want to go sit in a trailer or a van or wherever he went and have a big delay. So I think that Phil Mickelson would rather go, yes.
Gary?
I don't think there's any question that Mickelson had the momentum going with the good iron shot, the birdie at 11, had parred the difficult 12th. I would think he would want to continue on at any cause. I look at, too, now Tiger's going to have to come back and hit a very difficult tee shot at number 12, one of the hardest holes on the golf course. That'll be the first shot that he comes back to play after this delay, so that can't be very easy either. I would think, though, in his mode of just trying to make pars, it will have less of an effect on him than it will on Mickelson.
And Johnny, with the golf course changing a little bit, it's going to get wet. The greens, we know, can take a lot of rain, and the green speed doesn't change a lot. But does it give Mickelson or any of these other challengers a chance to maybe go at a pin that they might not be able to go at previously?
I think it'll help you if you hit a poor shot. You can get it up and in from a short-sided green a little bit better, but the backspin on the short irons, you're going to have to factor that in. So I think the rough is going to be even tougher than it was because it's going to be wetter than wet. So, you know, you try to look for a silver lining. The only silver lining maybe is for a guy like Sergio Garcia, who looked like he was out of sorts, out of tune. There wasn't anything good going on. Maybe he'll just settle him down, and maybe he'll come out and do something. But it's really, you have to almost say it's between Tiger and Phil Mickelson right now. Phil has got a chance. He's going to have to play at least 1 under par, and Tiger maybe make a couple bogeys, and then we might have a playoff. But I would think the winning score is on the good side for Phil Mickelson. 2 or 3 under could be the number, and that'll take a little problem by Tiger, which would be very easy to do. And you never know, Tiger could play the next several holes 4 over par. You just never know.
Well, we're going to take a short break and continue to wait out this lone weather delay of this championship. They're hoping to start it up again in about 10 or 15 minutes from now. We'll wait and see. Tiger with his +1 round today, bogeying the first 2 holes, but came back with a birdie at the 7th and has parred the rest. Mickelson 1 under on his round today with 3 birdies and 2 bogeys. He is the closest pursuer to try and hold off Woods' march to history, trying to put together the second leg of the Grand Slam. There he is through 11. But as Gary mentioned, he's got that 499-yard par 4 when he gets back out into business.
If you think balancing your checkbook is hard, imagine this. Every night in the UK, Lloyd's TSB, HSBC, and Barclays must process millions of checks. How do these banks do it? They don't. It's outsourced through a joint venture with Unisys. Having collaborated every night, they open for business every day as competitors. Unisys. Imagine it done.
16 years worth of balls, tees, greens fees, putting machines, golf magazines, tips from pros, tips from chiropractors, new clubs to replace the ones you threw into the lake, and a bumper sticker that says you'd rather be golfing. $23,200. The moment golf pays you back. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Fan of the PGA Tour and golfers who never give up.
Well, this weather did appear in a pretty quick way here on Long Island. Our weather time-lapse photography. There you can see the clouds moving in. Ooh. That looks like something out of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it got dark.
And even though the rain continues to fall, there is a little bit lighter sky out there.
I could just see all the arguments out there in the gallery. Hey, I thought you said it wouldn't rain. I was going to bring my umbrella. You said not to.
You know, a lot of the folks have been asked to leave the stands, but do you think this crowd's going to leave and give up their seats that they've been waiting hours for? Well before the leaders even teed off? I don't know if there's a system for that. If they clear out the stands, it's just a free-for-all to get back up there. Let's check in with the People's Pro, Roger Malfi. Raj?
Well, thank you, Dan. Tiger and Sergio Garcia have taken refuge to the right of the 11th fairway, and some modular trailers set up for this very purpose. Tournament vans have taken them to this point, and they are in this modular trailer with Tiger's mother, Tiger's girlfriend, their caddies, and Sergio Garcia and his father, Victor Garcia, and they're just waiting it out.
You want to go in there, Raj? All right, let's go to Mark Rolfe.
Okay, well, on the other hand, Phil Mickelson is in a trailer with his swing coach, Rick Smith, and they are talking about what was going wrong on the front nine. Now, I did talk to Rick Smith. He told me he thought Phil made a really good swing on the iron shot in the 10th fairway, but clearly he was having problems before, so they are in there talking it through right now.
David?
David, I made a comment there. I thought it's a sort of a obscure rule, but there is a rule that once they blow that siren, you can do what?
Well, there is a list of do's and don'ts when play suspended. One thing you can do, you can receive advice when play is suspended, because the advice rule only applies during the stipulated round. And it's a decision, Johnny, so we'll give you a mulligan on that. It's not in the rule book itself, but the things you cannot do, you have to, when play resumes, and it will resume, you have to have the same 14 clubs, and you can't have altered them during the suspension. And when play resumes, you can substitute a ball even if you didn't lift the original when play was suspended. One thing you cannot do during a dangerous situation is you can't practice. And there's a good reason for that. It's a dangerous situation. And let's say you had players out there practicing. Then fans who should be seeking cover might just go watch them practice. All makes sense.
Well, David, I know you know the rules. What about your meteorological skills? Have you heard anything about the weather that we don't know, or is it going to crank it up here in a few minutes? Or
what they were saying about 5 minutes ago was maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. So we'll continue to wait until play resumes. Tiger Woods with a 3-shot lead through 11 on the back nine at the black. Closest to him, Phil Mickelson.
The all-new 2003 Lincoln Navigator. There are those who travel, and those who travel well.
My name is Suetsugu. I am very strong. In sumo, I can lift a 500-pound man out of dojo. So why can't I get to this obstacle with a 3-iron?
The new Big Bertha irons from Callaway Golf. With a low center of gravity, they'll help you get the ball airborne easily off any lie.
Nothing beats a low center of gravity.
Big Bertha irons from Callaway Golf. Enjoy the game.
It was not my dream to realize this day. The day a father watched his daughter start at Juilliard. But I embraced that dream with unwavering attention and made it my own, because that was the dream of my client. And that's what I do at Morgan Stanley. One client at a time.
The rain continues to fall at the black course at Bethpage, and throughout this championship week, we've been talking about, look at the rainbow, always a good sign for play, perhaps resuming in the next few minutes or so, but a piece of golf history that has been mentioned a lot this week was the last time a player won the first 2 legs of a Grand Slam. And it came from a familiar name back in 1972. 30 years ago, Jack Nicklaus won the U.S. Open with one of the most memorable shots in Open history.
We had conditions that were very difficult at Pebble Beach that week. It was very dry, very windy. It was actually rather chilly, and it was a week of patience. The greens got very hard and crusty, and you just had to really just be patient with the whole golf course. We had a 1-iron to the back section of the green. It was pretty long 1-iron. It just came out just like a rifle right at the hole, and it never left the flag. And of course, I think it hit the flag. It stopped 4 inches away, but had it not hit the flag, it would have gone, maybe 8 or 10 feet by the hole.
I actually was about halfway between the tee and the green over to the right-hand side of the hole, and following it in the air, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's really going to be close. But I thought, whew, I think that did it.
Still last piece of one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult achievement in all of sports, is to win the Grand Slam of golf in the same calendar year. And the U.S. Open and Masters champions who have pulled it off before Jack did it 30 years ago. Palmer, Hogan, a couple of times. Jack did finish second at the British Open, one behind, but Johnny, it is just a very tough achievement, and maybe by the end of this day, if play resumes and Tiger Woods is able to hoist the U.S. Open trophy again, we'll have a man that could just pull it off.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about it. He's in an era that it seems like the players don't respond that heroically around him, and he's played some phenomenal golf. Some of the majors, nobody would have beaten him. His first Masters, Pebble in the year 2000, stuff like that has just been off the charts. British Open, and so he has won those legitimately. They're all legitimate, but a couple of those could have been taken away from him, is what I'm trying to say, because the play has not been that splendid against him. And the Masters this year comes to mind that he played a very smart round. He might have been able to make more birdies if he needed them, but the guys really just sort of, after the first hour, just sort of moved out of the way, and then he played very controlled golf, which he's able to do. I think he's the greatest player that's ever played the game. I think he has a tendency to make other players play worse than they normally would if it was against anybody else. I guess that's the ultimate compliment of a competitor. But Tiger right now has got these guys on a run, and he's got them where if he just keeps putting his name up there, he'll probably continue to win. And he's got a pretty darn good chance of winning the Grand Slam. It's crazy to think that. We've never thought that before. We said there'd never be another Jack Nicklaus, and now you got a guy that maybe will make people forget about Jack a little bit.
And you got a guy as a kid who used to post up Jack's record in his room. And speaking of Jack's record, there are the ages to the right when Jack won his 18 major championships. And as we lock in there to the ages on the right for Jack and the ages on the right for Tiger Woods, you can see in that 27 years old when he won that 1967 U.S. Open. He took 3 more years before he won the 8th major championship. That's what's important to remember here. And as Tiger has already won his 7th major championship at the age of 26, he's got a chance to, well, he's already passed Jack on this list, but he has a chance to really kind of pass him a lot more and further make it somewhat popular opinion now that Tiger Woods, certainly the most dominant player the game has ever seen, even though he's not up to the number 18 yet, he's the best of all time.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into this thing of whether Tiger will remain healthy, which, you never know. You just got to be thankful when you stay healthy. He trains very hard, much harder than our generation and Nicklaus's generation, Palmer's generation. And so I think he's sort of making that more of a guarantee that his health is good, his back is better than it's ever been. And his whole game is just amazing. The shots that he's able to pull off, other guys don't even try. The last shot that Roger was ready to, bow down on, just the punch out of the rough on 11 was just unbelievable, and that's just great stuff.
And the fans are being let back up into the stands. And our latest report is that they're going to be back out there, the players, in about 10 minutes or so, David?
Well, that's the hope. That's optimistic. About 6:45 or so. So we're hopeful.
As far as light out here, how late can you play?
Well, now it's getting much lighter, and so it depends on what the cloud cover is. For example, on Thursday, we couldn't have played much more beyond 8:20 or so.
But in a lighted sky, you can get out there and play, maybe to 8:30 or so, perhaps.
We're creeping up on the longest days of the year, so if the sun does its job, we should be able to get this in time.
The fans want to bring it back out.
I'll tell you, they're fired up right now. They want some action.
We're waiting all day out there for the leaders to get there. They're going to have to wait a little longer, and even the marshals are getting into it.
Get those golfers out there, Fay. We're ready for some golf.
Those marshals certainly appreciated this week, haven't they? Local firemen from the New York area. The marshals at the 17th and 18th holes here. So, we're going to take another short break. Weather delay, just about 35 minutes now. We're like you, folks. We want to bring them out. See if Tiger Woods can finish this off or if there's some magic left from the folks behind him. Mickelson and Maggart, the closest pursuers. 102nd U.S. Open Championship continues from Long Island in just a moment.
What ball will you be playing today?
Titleist Pro V1.
Titleist.
Titleist Pro V1.
What ball are you playing?
Titleist.
Titleist.
What ball are you playing, sir?
Titleist. Titleist.
Titleist.
Titleist.
Titleist Pro V1. Of course you're going to invest in a 529 college savings plan.
It's federal tax-free.
But you want it managed right. Not just through up markets, but down markets.
Through potty trading?
And swim meets. And broken curfews. And strange piercings. Hey, getting the money ready could be a lot less painful than getting the kids ready.
Make sure your 529 is backed by some of the best money management in the business. Call Fidelity or ask your advisor. Because you're not just invested, you're personally invested.
Nice shot. Of course, you know what this means, don't you?
Yep. The drinks are on me. Cheers.
Help us preserve this wonderful game. Become a member of the USGA, and you'll receive the rules of golf, a year's subscription to Golf Journal, and an official bag tag, all for $15. So call the USGA for the good of the game.
Here are 5 reasons to golf at Hidden Lakes Golf Resort in Sandpoint, Idaho.
4-star rating.
3rd in the state.
2nd best clubhouse in America.
Number 1 for challenge in the Inland Northwest.
Number 1 for merchandise.
Number 1 new restaurant in the Northwest.
You do the math.
It's all here at Hidden Lakes Golf Resort, just outside of Sandpoint, Idaho.
Weather delay continues, but as you can see, there are some sun spots out there on the black course at Bethpage. So while we have a moment, and we expect play to resume here in just a few moments from now, some of the highlights that you might have missed on some of the latter stages of the front 9 as the players warm up a little bit. Tiger, of course, began the final round of this championship with 2 bogeys. but then finally made his first birdie of the day at the 7th. It's been his only birdie of the day. All the rest pars, but it got Tiger back to 4 under and in command of this championship. But just moments after that birdie putt for Tiger at 7, Mickelson at the long par 3 8 with an answer. And it got Mickelson back to within 4. And then Mickelson second at the par 4 11. Needing birdies here in the back 9 if he's going to make a charge, and he lined himself up for a good opportunity at 11. And then he took advantage. Mickelson back to 1 under and within 3, which is where he stands right now. And then Tiger showing the power after driving it in the rough at 11. Somehow muscling it up through that narrow opening to the green at 11. And Tiger was able to save par and remain at 4 under, which is exactly where he stands right now. And there is his mother, I believe, Coltita Woods, making her way out. Let's bring in Roger Malpe. Raj.
The players are now leaving the trailers to the right of the 11th hole. They are walking back down. They're not going to get into the vans. They're going to walk down the 11th fairway, and play should resume shortly.
And Tiger's girlfriend, I believe, also making her way out to the golf course, the Nordegren. There she is, and there was so much hype and publicity in the New York area. This was the cover, not the back sports page of the New York Post, a month before this U.S. Open began. A picture of, well, somebody's getting more coverage than Tiger. A little picture of him, and Johnny, you're speechless for the first time.
Yeah, I'm just checking her out.
So Tiger Woods at 4 under par. And the fans continue to wait. 4-5 hours before the leaders teed off. Those fans have made their way into the stands. Across the road at the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th holes. And there is Tiger Woods making his way out to the 12th. The longest par 4 in U.S. Open history.
Tell you what, I've tried to swing like Tiger just did there while you're walking, and that's about the easiest way I know to pull a muscle in your back. It's a very awkward motion to be walking forward and then try to swing.
There's Faldo. If he's signing an autograph there in the trailer, somebody better tell Nick that he needs to head out.
Doesn't do anything very speedily, I can tell you that.
Well, he's playing the 14th. Maybe he's very close and just needs to jump out and tap in. Who knows?
Well, somebody needs to tell him, Nick, get out there. So everybody would like to finish this round. Nobody wants to stick around for tomorrow. There's so many logistical problems with doing that. Volunteers and everybody else.
Let's bring in Mark Rolfing. He's with the swing guru of Phil Mickelson.
All right, yes, indeed. Rick Smith is here again. Rick, you just got out of the trailer, having had a little impromptu session with Phil. What did you tell him?
Well, what I was seeing in the early part of the round, his lower body was starting to get a little active again, which dropped the club underneath his plane, and he couldn't really release the club. So he's going to level out his hips a little more through the ball and allow the club to stay more on top of the plane rather than underneath. And he started making the change around right around hole 11. He striped it and felt pretty good, but the clubs felt behind him. He felt underneath his plane a bit for the front 9, but he feels pretty good about it, and he's going to make the change.
Do you think the suspension in play was good at this point, or would you think he'd rather have kept going?
No, I think it's perfect. We'll regroup, and actually now the wind with the par 5 coming up, it was potentially not reachable, and I think now it is. So I think that's an advantage. He drives it long and off the tee there pretty good. I think he'll be in a position to make birdie, which he needs at this point. And Tiger's got to play 12 without the wind, but you know, it doesn't seem like anything bothers him right now anyway. So he's got to tend to his own business.
It seems like Phil is keeping very close track of what Tiger is doing. Almost every shot behind us.
He wants to know what's going on. There's no question that he wanted to know right away. He said, Rick, what happened? Tiger off the tee at 11 and so forth. He wants to know what he's doing. That's the way he is, and I think we'll just see.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Dan?
Thank you, Mark. And we showed you a shot of Tiger's girlfriend, so there is Martina Hingis, the tennis star and the girlfriend of Sergio Garcia with the gallery.
There's only a few guys.
Johnny, I know you ran into her on the golf course earlier this week.
I did. I think she's trying to fall in love with golf. She says she's tried it. I was talking to her out there, and I said, what are you doing now? And she says, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. So
as far as where her tennis career is, or where on the golf course?
She said she's healthy, you know, pretty good. She's ready to go.
Coming back from an ankle injury, which has kept her sidelined for most of the year and has given her a chance to watch young Sergio Garcia, but Garcia 6 behind Woods. And Roger Malpe, I know you're out there. What about the playability of the golf course after some pretty good rain swept through here?
Well, certainly it will soften it up some, make the rough tougher, but there's absolutely not a breath of wind right now. We can still hear some rumbling clearly from the line that has passed through. But right now it's blue skies over our heads, and should be okay from here on, it seems.
Well, I hope somebody got a hold of Faldo. I remember summer vacationing in Yosemite, and it let the fire fall that pushed the coals off the thing, but it's always, where's Waldo? It's going to be a minute. Where's Faldo?
Johnny, I have a question. Tiger's statement at the start of the day was, you know, they still have to catch me. These players have to come get me. And even though he's over par, that's exactly the scene right now, is it not?
It sure is. Mickelson, I think, is the only guy out there that's under par on the course. He is 1 under. He's played a very courageous round. You know, I don't want to downplay what he's done, because where he hit his iron shots there on several of those holes, for him to be 1 under for the day is pretty good stuff.
Well, that's the stuff of U.S. Opens, too. It's usually a struggle, and especially on Sunday. You struggle with yourself, and you struggle with your game, and, of course, with the golf course.
Price, we just have been updated, that, of course, with that great shot at number 17 and through 17, -1 for the day. So another stellar performance there, along with Scott Hoke and a few others, and good stuff. We have had several good rounds today. Peter Lonard with 67, we saw that earlier, and Stuart Appleby, one of the first ones out, 69. Hoke 69.
As Tiger warms up,
I tell you, one of the best things you can do, I found, if you make 20 practice swings right in a row, not real hard, by the time the 20th one, you are good to go. You don't need to hit one darn ball. I don't know why. By 15, you're starting to loose up. By 20, the blood's flowing, getting a little bit of heat building up. So Tiger's done at least that many. Smart guy.
Well, Phil Mickelson has been in the spotlight at each and every major championship he has been at, because he has won so many times, 20 in fact, without winning a major. But look what it took Ben Hogan, Sam Snead to name just a couple. They won 29 times and 27 times respectively before they won their first professional major championships.
Yeah,
a couple of legends there. So we know that Phil turned 32 years old today, and in his mind, it's not about winning one, it's about winning several. But, you know, some other pretty good players waited a little bit before they broke through.
Well, unfortunately for Phil, he's got some guy named Tiger Woods. Huge Jazz fan I am. And, of course, their best years was against some guy from Chicago, I think, named Michael Jordan. So, same sort of scenario.
That 20 PGA Tour wins, the third most all-time without a professional major victory. Let's check in with Mark Rolfing again.
Well, Dan, I think the timing of the suspension was very good for Phil Mickelson, because he got his par putt in the hole, so he does not have to face that 6-footer, having had the 35-minute or plus delay. Jeff Maggart, on the other hand, was just getting ready to hit his putt when the horn blew, and he had to mark his. So what Mickelson has been thinking about now is what's going to be the most important shot of the day thus far for him. That's the tee shot at 13. The wind is not blowing. If he can get it in the fairway, it's definitely a birdie hole.
Serenading Phil again.
Yeah, that's about the 6th rendition, I think, or time they've done it. But that's nice.
Well, it appears that most of the players, hopefully,
There he is.
Baldo, and there he is. He's out in place, getting ready to go.
Scott Karen.
Davis Love.
They look happy to be out there. They look pretty relaxed right now, don't they?
Despite playing +6 golf on the day. And there is Tiger's mom, Cole Tita. We hear that Earl Woods is in New York, but not sure if he's at the golf course today on Father's Day, but in the New York area.
Well, over at 15, Justin Leonard leading the cheers of the crowd that has been now allowed back into the grandstand that surrounds this green. They were saying, "Here we go, Longhorns, here we go." And, of course, that got Justin's attention.
Jerry, how was the scramble for everybody back in the seats? When
Well,
they made
you know,
it clear
Dan, I
out?
was amazed. It was fairly orderly, and I thought there might be a wild stampede to get them back in there, but very, very calm. Everybody back in position. Most enthusiastic crowds I've ever seen. Fabulous. Well, Johnny, don't you think with what Mickelson needs to accomplish here over the course of about the last 6 holes that these conditions couldn't be more favorable?
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's a two-way street. It's good for Tiger and Phil, and it's all about, there we go.
Tom Meeks with a smile on his face.
He's a happy guy.
Blows the horn.
They're getting restless. Good point, but Tiger's in a par mode. I would say the smartest thing I can say right now is Tiger's in a par mentality right now, and Phil is in a par option birdie mentality. So that
could
good.
be pretty, pretty good stuff at the end here.
Yeah. Tiger knows the value of a par right now, and Phil is going to be gunning.
So after a 50-minute weather delay, back we go to work, and we begin at the 12th.
And Jeff Maggart now for his par putt. Obviously going to be just a little slower than it was some 50 minutes ago, Murph. I believe it's just an inside firm, inside the left edge. That's exactly right. No great mystery here. These greens drain very well. We saw that Friday.
All right.
He's been pretty steady with that club. Interesting thing, Johnny Miller. Phil Mickelson was practicing during the delay, but we'll go here first.
This is the 14th, and Faldo for birdie. Faldo will remain at +5, +3 on his round today. And over at 11, Garcia for birdie. Get to be, well, it is, must make time for this man.
Yeah, he's got to go crazy from here on in. Hasn't made a putt in a long time, Love. That he needed.
He's without a birdie today. Up ahead to the 12th.
Interesting thing, Phil Mickelson is putting, practice putting on number 12 after the finish of the play of their hole. They are allowed to do this, given the fact that they are not delaying play.
Kind of nice to be able to be out there and stroke a few. I think we've got some commentators out there.
Yeah. Oh, these people
No need for me anymore.
They root for anything. You kidding me? Ooh. I saw Johnny Miller. Phil Mickelson was practicing his putting, looking at the hole and practicing at different lengths. 4 feet, 10 feet, all the way out to 35, 40 feet. So trying to get a good feel after sitting for a while.
Mickelson's got that par 5 to tackle, Murph. Before we get to that, we go to Nick Price. Just a moment ago, this was the last little putt that Nick Price had. He waited 50 minutes to do that. bogey at 18 for Price. Still with a fine round. And out to the 12th.
And on the tee, Tiger Woods and Roger Maltby, we talked about it, the longest hole, par 4 in U.S. Open history. What a tee shot.
I can't think of a tee shot I'd least like to hit after a 50-minute delay without hitting any balls than this tee shot.
But you don't carry 300 yards, Roger.
8 of 9 fairways hit today.
Well, this is just perfect. Hammered down the left side of the bunker.
Boy, that calling that extra artillery, Kenny Murph, when he needs
That
it.
is really good after going and sitting like that. He's not sure it's in the fairway.
That was very impressive.
Well, this one needs to be impressive, too, because as Mark Rolfing said, he can reach this par 5, 554 yards, no wind now. Before the storm, this was right into the wind.
Got to hit 2 big ones, though.
The fairway is just a little bit wider, too, because it's a little softer. Good point. Phil's aim will just be at the right cut of the tee in front of him, unless he plays a hard draw. Took it right over it. It's a hard draw. The problem is he might have pulled it just a little. Got there.
Oh,
good pick. Scooted out into the fairway.
What a shot. How about those 2 drives?
And Jeff Maggard now. Jeff will have to go left of that line. It's not as strong as Phil Mickelson. Another good one here, but it'll probably be a 3-shot hole for sure for him. And I'm sure that's the way he's played it every day, too.
Well, let's look at number 13. It's a good one. You can see it goes down through this little dip. Of course, this is nothing off the tee right here, but just you want to move the ball left to right. If you can. Mickelson, of course, hitting a hook and around and over those trees there, and he's hitting about right into this area right now, probably 300 yards. Then it actually reverses itself. You got to go over this. Either laid up right now is where Maggard's going to hit it, or go over this bunker, which is 20 yards short of the green, hit the downslope and run it right on this little round green. And you can see it's sort of a double serpentine type of a hole. Mickelson's driven it about right there, and then of course he hopes he knocks it right on the green from there.
And back at 12, Sergio's tee shot now. This just earlier. Terrific.
Padraig Harrington for birdie. This a moment ago. Again at the last respite before the final 4 holes.
There's a lot of Irishmen out there that will enjoy this putt.
And Harrington moves back to +3, +2 on his round today. 14, the easiest hole this week.
That's nice.
There's Harrington moving back in there at +3. 7 back, though, as Mickelson and Woods remain the only players under par. Tee at 17, a site of great activity yesterday.
208 yards. Hole locations were right there on the left side. Davis is taking dead aim at it with a 4-iron. Big follow through might be going right. I'm not sure. When your belly sticks out that much in your follow through, it's usually a block to the right.
Davis Love has struggled on the back 9 on the black. Even play on the front, but +11 on the back. Started off with a pair of 71s. Was it +2? Was it +4 when it began the day? But +7 on his round today as we get back over to the 12th.
And Roger Maltby's down there with Sergio.
201 yards left to the hole. Looking right up the throat of the green at the flagstick. This is a 5-iron. Badly left.
Oh. Bad shot, and up at 13 now. Mark Rolfing, you're right there. He has got 271 yards to the hole. That's not the number he's thinking about. He's thinking 250. That'll get him to the front edge of the green. Probably needs to carry it about 245 to get it over the bunker and rough. I definitely think he's got the firepower to get it there. You can see the look in his face. Great shot from our camera angle there of the mental preparation going on. He does have to bust this. It is busted very high and right at the flag. Beautiful. Just short of the green. Two terrific golf shots. So he's trying. We know that. Back at 12. Tiger now, Roger.
That's from 185. Had the 6-iron out, went to the 7-iron. Has gone back and gotten the 6. What wind there is, which is negligible, is against the players here. Smooth 6-iron. This just a little right of the hole. Pretty good looking shot.
And the fans here know it's one of the best they've seen all day. Will collect to the right. There's a little dip over there on the right-hand side. Not a terribly hard putt. And importantly, Johnny Miller said he's in that par mode.
Well, Sergio right there just got, you know, when you waggle that many times, I just, and never look at the target. That's the whole thing. I said he'll go 25 seconds without ever looking back at the target. And watch this swing right here. He'll take it back. Everything looks pretty darn good here. Good, good, good. Head stands still. And he comes down. There's just so much time. Look at how he broke his left wrist. You see, right after impact, his left wrist and the shaft angle were totally kicked to the left. I mean, this was really quite a bad shot, and it's a little motocross hook there is what it was.
He's probably going to need some ruling help over there, too, because that is mud over there.
He's trying to hold on to that club. Left